Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera untuk Mak San, Menteri Luar yang mempengusikan sidang. Sudah saya TPM Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, Menteri-Menteri, rakan-rakan Menteri-Menteri ASEAN, tuan-tuan yang utama, saudara-saudari yang dimuliakan. Satu penghormatan lagi kepada Malaysia tatkala mempengusikan ASEAN tahun ini dan menyelenggara sidang utama hari ini, kerana di sinilah tapak untuk kita kembangkan perbincangan pada bulan Oktober nanti. Izin kami menyatakan bahawa kekuatan ASEAN inilah jaminan keamanan. Kekuatan ASEAN ini ialah jaminan pertumbuhan ekonomi, dan kekuatan ini juga diharapkan untuk menjaga kepentingan rakyat ASEAN keseluruhannya. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may I begin and seek your indulgence to express my personal feelings and concern, as I also expressed to my friends, foreign ministers this morning. That is, from the most senior leaders in ASEAN to the present, we have achieved thus far due to the level of trust, friendship among leaders, and I believe foreign ministers too. The more contentious issues like Myanmar, the 5-point consensus, whether to be able to meet Prime Minister Military Junta and NUG Prime Minister. When we discuss with the leaders, without exception, full of support and confidence shown. Similarly, after the event, we were able to engage again to seek a common platform, understanding how to proceed. Even the unfortunate incidents recently between Cambodia and Thailand, which of course most leaders, all ASEAN leaders, do express some concern. But we had no inhibition at all to immediately call our colleagues, in both countries, to express our concern and to support all endeavors, initiative to secure a lasting peace. We have gone through phases to ensure a relative success of ASEAN, including areas that we think have faced some limitations, like inter-ASEAN trade, joint investments. But we have done relatively well because, again, I must reiterate the level of trust and confidence that we have among ourselves. I've just returned, as you know, from Rio. I was in Italy, France before that. Without exception, meeting leaders, of course, bilateral sessions with Malaysia, but without exception, they all ask about ASEAN. Everyone have recognized the role of ASEAN. ASEAN now has come and achieved a spectacular position, measure of respect and recognition internationally, and I must thank you all, and particularly the foreign ministers, for being so welcome officially to Kuala Lumpur for the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. We are at the moment where we have to make courageous choices about ASEAN's priorities, our voice in the world, how we shape the region between now and 2045. So again, thank you to the foreign ministers, leaders, for the trust shown to us this year and next year to the Philippines. And I've assured President Bongbong Marcos that this part of our endeavor will give all the necessary support and cooperation to ensure the success. ASEAN, as reflected by Foreign Minister Mak Hassan, was not born of ease, It was forged in complexity by nations that understood the perils of divisions and the promise of dialogue. Yet we have persevered and preserved peace and expanded prosperity in ways few regions can equal. We did so by nurturing a habit of cooperation, a willingness to keep engaging, and even in the past, nothing to do with my sleep. Our region's strength, therefore, lies not in the absence of tension, but in our commitment to manage it through mutual respect, continuous dialogue, and the search for consensus. That is the ASEAN way. It must remain our guide. We also look forward to welcoming Timor-Leste as our newest member in October. Malaysia has long supported this aspiration, and we were heartened by the progress made. And thank again the Secretariat for facilitating. And I urge all member states to continue supporting Timor-Leste's path to full integration, not only into our institutions, but for the region's future. Above all, ASEAN centrality must be our North Star, as reflected by the continuous strengthening and innovation of ASEAN-led institutions. We must remain the region's primary anchor for dialogue, in as much as our dialogue partners must continue to find value in engaging with us. Foreign Minister Hassan is complaining of his headache because everywhere we go, leaders want to at least participate. If they can't join, they want to participate. So I say, please persuade your colleagues, the foreign ministers, that we will we're very likely to have President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa and Lula da Silva of Brazil wanting to join, at least representing their regions. I'm just giving a suggestion. The problem is for the foreign ministers to then facilitate. That's why you are here today. Now, you see, that level of understanding and confidence is unheard of, and it's not the pattern observed by many other regions. I'm very proud. I'm not exaggerating, but I am extremely delighted to be able to contribute and participate with the level of support and trust and friendship shown by all these countries and their leaders. And therefore, please convey my respects to your respective leaders and governments, and wish them well and continue to engage and ensure that the success of ASEAN in the future is rest assured. Now, this meeting takes place amid the unraveling of assumptions where power unsettles principle and calm can no longer be taken for granted. The global order is fraying, conflict, coercion, mistrust now define too many relationships, and countless lives are being lost or overturned in their wake. In Gaza and Palestine, we witness the unrelenting suffering of an entire people, denied dignity and justice across generations. In Ukraine, war grinds on. Across parts of Africa, violence continues to displace and devastate. And in Myanmar, regrettably, peace remains elusive even as suffering deepens. We are also deeply troubled by mounting tensions in the Middle East, with the actions of one state against its neighbors threaten to spark a wider regional conflagration. The risks are profound for energy security, global stability, and the integration of international law. The multilateral system cannot endure if its principles are upheld only when convenient. ASEAN must be among those who choose to stand for rules, even when others choose to retreat. Realism and values are not opposing forces. We need both to guide our choices and to defend what matters. Ministers, Excellencies, power has always shaped trade, but today it increasingly defines it. Across the world, tools once used to generate growth are now wielded to pressure, isolate, and contain. Tariffs, export restrictions, and investment barriers have now become the sharpened instruments of geopolitical rivalry. This is no passing storm. It is a new weather of our time. Now, ASEAN must confront this reality with clarity and conviction. We must read the landscape clinically, speak with coherence, act with foresight. Our cohesion must not end at declarations. It must be built into our institutions, our strategies, and our economic decisions. I therefore urge even closer alignment between ASEAN's foreign and economic policy tracks. Our foreign and economic ministers must move in concert in facing challenges. This imperative is fully aligned with ASEAN's Vision 2045, which calls for greater synergy across pillars and sectors. We must build habits of coordination that match the realities we confront. And as we navigate external pressures, we need to fortify our internal foundations, trade among ourselves, invest more in one another, and advance integration across sectors with resolve. To build a stronger, more connected ASEAN economy is a strategic imperative that will anchor our relevance and resilience for decades to come. We must also reject the idea that the world can be carved into spheres of influence and that decisions about our region can be made elsewhere. We are a region that charts its own course, deliberately, coherently, and with purpose. ASEAN will not be spoken for in absentia. Ministers, Excellencies, as global conditions remain uncertain, there is no overstressing the need to act with purpose in our own region. By advancing cooperation that delivers tangible benefits to our people, ASEAN will continue to focus on practical collaboration, connectivity, food security, digital transformation, education, public health, and climate resilience. These efforts take shape in the quiet determination of a mother in Battambang, preparing her stall as dawn breaks over the city. They endure the steady hands of a farmer in central Luzon, tending the land that has sustained generations. And they shine in the hopeful eyes of a child in Chiang Rai, walking to school with dreams of the future. From Sittwe to Merauke, from Da Nang to Dili, our region can become more peaceful and more prosperous if we have the courage to see ASEAN not as nations moving in parallel, but as one community moving with purpose. This is where ASEAN proves its worth, not in communiques, but in outcomes that strengthen our region and serve our people. So let this meeting reaffirm our conviction that ASEAN will remain coherent, resilient, and respected. And with that, I declare the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting officially open. Terima kasih.